World Test Championship win. New Zealand reached the final of the 2015, 2019 ODI World Cups. The women won the 2024 World Cup. Has New Zealand cricket made any kind of structural changes? What do you attribute this to? This consistent high performance?
Gents, I really think in a way, and I'll be really clear about this, in this whole professional era, I think particularly of white ball cricket, and given it this century, and I think that the power brokerage that is the Indian Premier League, and then on top of that, all the other leagues that have spawned from 2008's inception of the Indian Premier League to kick on, your PSLs, the Caribbean Premier League, Australia started to take the Big Bash a bit more seriously, not till about 2011 or 12, around that time, and then the late great Shane Warne came back, had a revival, Warney, and came back and played in Australia. So you think about Brendan McCullum, you think about that new brigade of Kane Williamson, Bolt and Southey, and all those guys, all those protagonists that were around at that time, and I'm talking around that time of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, getting all that experience and relishing the opportunity to play in front of those big crowds, a little bit more pressure, learning their craft more, being put under the microscope, as it were. And you just think that generational guys, that I had the good fortune of doing the ICC Under-19 World Cup in Kuala Lumpur in 2008, and that's when the likes of Williamson, Bolt, Southey was captain there. The certain great Virat Kohli was captain of India, and they won it. They beat South Africa in the final, all of that stuff. So when you look at that generation come through, and they talk about Steve Smith and Joe Root and the Fab Four, I think all of that sort of ilk and that timing, particularly for the New Zealand group, really gelled together, and you had such a great timing, as well as all what I've just mentioned, come together and do that. And it really and it wasn't so much it fell into place. You're quite right. New Zealand cricket, with its structures, got a lot more professional. The game grew to another level. And certainly, I can't stress that enough. I just think the game for a lot of the international countries across the globe have got to give a little bit of credence, and quite a big bit of credence, to the Indian Premier League. Those that were good enough to play in it and get the opportunity, it's developed their game measurably. So when I look at that, and you talked about all those finals, we're good at being bridesmaids. We love handing over the cake and the veil and everything, and the trophy. Apart from the test, the big malice, isn't it? The big Test Championship that New Zealand won in 2021. And then the women, you're right, and the women, and the same goes for them. I think for the females, the women playing in Australia, a lot of them playing in Aussie and in England, where I think for the women's competitions, particularly the UK and Australia, it was quite strong in recent years. And then you throw into the mix the WPL, the BCCI. I've realised too that the women need their showcase, and they need to be recognised and developing the sport of cricket through the women's side of it. So they're doing that, and truly important that they need to do that. And you can see that's also paid dividends, and definitely been very good for them, and really helped them as a side. And as you say, look what happened in, just last year in 2024, recently in the Women's T20 World Cup.
Whoops.
And that's fantastic as well for the women. So, yeah, I think for the game as a whole in New Zealand, it's not just about the code of rugby, men or women's rugby, because they're pretty good at that too. So cricket's got a great platform now.